The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent the views of this station or its management.
Real People, Real Life is brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Welcome back once again. Real People, Real Life from Wichita, Kansas, America. How is everybody?
There we go.
What's up? How are you?
Great.
Yay, Don?
Oh, fantastic.
Joe?
I'm here.
Joey?
It's good.
It's like you're ready to go to Hawaii, my friend.
It's good I got my hair cut because I would have pulled it all out this past week.
I know. So
You look very nice, by the way.
I'm not a nice person.
you look very
Well,
good.
you know, that's the
Not
story
everything
we've
is
heard.
how it seems.
Well, we all survived, the midterm elections.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad that's over.
Oh,
Isn't
well,
that
yeah.
wonderful?
Yeah, and
Fortunately, another election cycle starts very
Right.
I sometimes wish I just wish we could get this over with, instead of every 2 years or every few months. It just gets to be too much. But
But everybody gets to sit on their couch with their little flag, and it's like a sporting event.
it is. I mean, yeah, it's getting rather
get my
interesting.
It is a little bit like
Vuvuzela
a
next
sporting
time.
event or pageant.
soon.
Yeah, I know.
It
And
reminds me more of a pageant.
I thought it was
You know,
really
all the
funny how
liberals
many.
with their little spinner hats, but
Well,
Right?
yeah, it was very interesting. Don and I, well, we were all invited, but a lot of us couldn't. Some of y'all couldn't go, and that's fine. We understand. Don and I went ahead and went to Topeka, where we were
you had a
asked.
blast.
We did.
We did. We had fun. It was
How many
interesting.
stations did you blast on?
There were more than I thought I was going to have to. It was getting a little crazy. I remember,
Yeah.
this is the honest to goodness truth. I'm rushing around. I had a radio station call from here in Wichita, KQAM 1480, and they said, we want you to cover.
I think I've been there once.
I think we've been there
Yeah.
before, right, guys? Well, it was really cool because some of the folks that I've had the pleasure of interviewing over the years, and I'm pretty close with. Sometimes I'm close with them, and sometimes maybe I'm not. But anyway, we had Wink Hartman was in the studio with Todd T. Hart, and then on the 15 minute on the break of the hour, it was Joseph Ashby. 30-minute on the break, it went to me in Topeka. Then 45-minute on the break, it went to Carl Peterjohn from our county commissioner. So, there for that, about 2 hours, it was live, and they were hitting us up constantly. And then I got another call in addition to that, wanting more regional coverage for that stack line group of stations. So I think in the 5 or 6 hours we were there, I maybe sat down like 10 minutes.
It seemed like it, yeah.
I know. I was just zoom, zoom, zoom. So what we had on this beautiful hotel and banquet facility, on one side of the hall was the Libertarians, with the key number group and all that. Directly across the hall was everybody on the Republican ticket,
Kansas
and I
State
mean
Republican,
everybody.
yeah.
So
It was exciting.
it was exciting.
It was fun.
We'll share some pictures from last week, but when we first got there, real quickly, I did say before we left our hotel room, joking, of course, I said, I hope that we can get back to work here in America and get back to producing things, because I'm sick and tired of paying $8 for a pair of pantyhose that lasts 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Anyway, so that's how my evening started, just so you know. So it went from there. But anyway, so we get there, and it was a beautiful facility.
It was.
And so, Keen Umber Group, oh my gosh, there were stuffed mushrooms, and I
Oh, it
didn't
was awesome.
eat.
What a spread. What a spread.
I had a piece of Swiss cheese. I was too busy running.
Oh, the libertarians
So
know
you
how
had
to treat
stuffed fungus and cheese with holes in it.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It could not have
That
been better.
sounds amazing.
So you can
honestly.
imagine my excitement when I
checking.
found out that Kansas Republican Party was right across the hall. I go, if libertarians can put on a spread like this, imagine what the well-heeled
Well,
Republican
let's do that.
Party.
Let's imagine.
So yeah, that's all it's going to be. Imagine, I went across. They had a bowl of popcorn and some stale hot dogs. That, my friends, is what the
No.
Republicans say.
Yes.
Just like home.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
down there.
Well,
I was
disappointed.
really shocked.
I
That
almost-
was one of the things that I know we were like, what?
I
Yeah,
know.
didn't expect that. And then, it really, on the Republican side, it reminded me more of a presidential election in the way that they had the media row set up. It was an elevated area, just like you would see. You had your Fox National, your CNN. I mean, all the national bigwigs were there.
There was a lot of Washington influence on the.
There was a ton of Washington influence.
They played the game a day or two.
I think.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Orman did all right with outside influence.
He didn't die, so
Right.
I'm not thrilled.
I can't remember. I think it was, I want to say it might have been Koba that got it first. I did get a chance to talk briefly with Ron Estes, but I've always liked Ron. I think he's a stand-up guy. The interesting thing I thought, too, was, Keen Umper's side, from the minute we got there, was busy. I mean, there was people there. It was full, When we went over to the Republican side, it was just media. I mean, Media Row was busy. There was some media there from Wichita and some from Kansas City. And I remember this one gentleman, he's a gentleman I know in the Kansas City TV market. And he said, "Oh, can I put you on camera?" And I go, nope, I'm here doing the same thing. Talk to that guy. Anyway, that was rather funny, but I wasn't going to go there. But it was fascinating to me in that here in Wichita, I was doing a call-in back here, and they were ready to call it. Davis winning over Brownback back at the radio station.
That was a tight race.
And
Roberts was a media hype tight race. It wasn't tight at all.
Right.
And I'm glad of that, because
Right.
that guy's about as fake as they get. I think that one went the right direction. And we'll see what happens.
There was this like lull, I mean, on the Republican side, because I was right in the middle of a call-in, like I said, and they were ready to call it for Davis. And they're like, "So what's going on in Topeka, Rob?" And I'm like, wow, it's kind of doom and gloom in this room right now. It was. I mean, it was just like silence. It was very fascinating. And then the other thing that I noticed was once they saw, that the polls were starting to show all of them ahead, I have no idea, and I couldn't tell you where all these people came from all of a
It was
sudden.
amazing.
It was like, where were you all evening, in support of your candidates here?
Tossing them back in the room or something?
That's what I'm thinking. You all had some
If
luxurious
all they had was
suites.
popcorn and hot dogs, they were out having dinner and doing everything.
Evidently, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, because they must have got a heads up. Hey, we're going to feed you popcorn and hot dogs, and they were like, "Yeah, forget that crap."
Chuck E. Cheese it is.
Yeah, so they went somewhere,
like
but it was interesting, once they saw that they were gaining, and it was,
Well,
they came from
I bet
everywhere.
they went to Red Robin.
Hey, there you go.
Yum.
There was a lot of fascinating things. I think
Yeah.
the coolest thing was
They kept us a red state.
was watching Mr. and Mrs. Keen Umber.
Yeah.
God, just so much class, and man, I don't know how to describe it. It was just beautiful.
When they started dancing up on stage like a waltz, that tear of mine.
It did. It
So
brought it.
wonderful.
That moment gave
It was
me
a
a
loving
tear.
moment, after so much hard work. And they did fall a little bit short of the 5%. It was just under 5%, which has been a big milestone for libertarians here in Kansas.
Right. But they ran an awesome campaign. There was never any hate and bashing and none of that. I mean, and just seeing them and meeting the whole family and watching them as a family, and then the husband and wife getting up there and dancing like it was I was that was just a very touching moment for me. I thought it was
I
really
wrote in
beautiful.
Bill Kerr for the only Democratic judge that was standing unopposed, so I wrote in Bill Kerr to put against him. So. He didn't win.
He didn't win, no.
I thought it was really interesting, but
It was a great evening.
it was a great experience. As always, you get done with something like that, and in your head, you just trying to get your head around all of it. And we do have more elections coming up. And I guess if I could say anything, it would be take your time, do some research. Don't always buy into the media hype. We've seen that, repeatedly, and we've seen the billions of dollars, that was spent, and a lot of times it was with false messages.
We're not bashing. That's at the end.
And
that's
Jennifer
all it was.
Basinger beat the sales tax.
I thought Jennifer.
Congratulations to Jennifer.
Jennifer
That's right.
did.
She
Jennifer
did a
Basinger
super
did a
job.
great job. I think we all saw that one coming.
Pretty much.
We did, and I think, and no offense to the other folks on the flip side of that fence, but they just didn't bring it.
There was
I
a
mean-
chart. Bob Weeks had a good chart up on his thing by the
I saw
precinct
that.
level. And I think there's maybe 2 or 3 precincts in Wichita that voted majority were yes votes. Everybody else, whether it be north, south, east, west.
They can't overcome the idea that we had so much more with a lower tax in years past.
Exactly.
They can't. They can't handle the money they've got now, and we want to give them more. Now that doesn't quite fit.
Right. And my problem with the entire thing was, I'm sorry, this is not like, going to AT&T or Cox and trying to bundle my telephone, my internet, and my cable. You're trying to bundle like all this other stuff.
Right.
When they've had so many talks about public transit, water, the streets, and everything in
And the
between.
most laughable thing of all,
and they,
the government creating jobs.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that's happened so often.
Well, even if the government does create jobs, what does that do? It puts another bill on top of it.
Yeah.
You got to pay somebody. You got to pay their health insurance, and their family's health insurance.
Exactly.
So are we really creating a job, or are we just, hey, I think I got like $4 in my pocket. I might just go put it in the garbage can. And
like
Pretty
Obama
much.
pointing at his golf bag guy. He says, I created that job.
Well, I missed
I
that
think
one.
I've actually just, I've got a
get
new
to-
life's aspiration. I want to be a presidential caddy.
Now, I
That'd be
wonder
great.
if that caddy gets tipped well.
I do.
Oh, I
I doubt
don't
it too.
know.
I mean, it's like Michelle Obama out there telling everybody to eat. She's a horse. Have you seen her?
Oh, I'm sure he tipped him. Don't
I don't
Ferguson.
know. No,
She
I
might
don't-
outweigh me.
I don't know that.
Good grief.
No comment. No comment.
Okay, well, Foss and I would like to tell you about this week's essential oil. Okay, all right.
Different subject.
I have a place here in Wichita called Karma Connections. It's a natural healing arts store.
I think I've been there before.
I think you guys have been there. And of course, we have the baconrock.com radio studio there too.
course.
But
Bacon Rock,
every week I'm
baby.
trying to bring you an essential oil and what it's good for. The last one we talked about was peppermint to keep the spiders and the mice out of the house. And I felt like this one would be appropriate for this week. And all
it
the
do something
political
to
ads are
politicians?
over. So if you happen to have hemorrhoids, okay,
Oh, yes.
this is oil for
Or
you.
got them over this
It's
last-
patchouli, okay, and
That's that hippie
put a
stuff.
little patchouli on, and them suckers go right
What?
back
So
up there.
Democrats,
What is
if you
that?
have problems
Anybody
with your
who
donkey,
is a little
patchouli?
that's patchouli. People
You
would
rub
not know
patchouli
that.
on your butt?
Put a little patchouli on that rear end, you'll be good going about now.
That's one sweet smelling. I don't know what to
So
say.
anybody that is a little
Whenever I smell somebody that smells like patchouli from here on out,
I know
I'm
you're
like,
going to be like, got a hemorrhoid problem. So
Oh,
anybody
yeah.
that has a little bit of a rear end hurt from last week,
There you go.
here you go.
Get some patchouli oil.
there's your butt juice.
Oh, you didn't have to go there. Come on.
We have a very special
that
show
right down.
coming up today in honor of our Veterans Day being going on. I don't even want to know.
know.
Very special show coming up
Did they edit that out?
They're going to have to separate us
Making
again.
himself
in
blush.
honor
have to
of
separate us
Veterans
once more.
Day.
Veterans Day.
Veterans
yes.
Day.
Yes, Veterans Day, and we want to say thank you to all of our veterans. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with our
And
guests for
happy
tonight.
birthday to the Marine Corps yesterday.
Exactly. Real people, real life. Be right back.
So I met up with some friends at the edge of the night at a bar off 75. And we talked and talked about how our parents will die, all our neighbors and wives. But I'd like to think I can cheat it all to make up for the times I've been cheated on. And it's nice to know.
Real People, Real Life is brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Real People, Real Life, going on location. Thanks to Mid-America Power Sports. And Go Pro 4, now at Mid-America Power Sports, 333 Northwest Street, Wichita, Kansas, America.
At Trailer Town, we're all about selection, service, and safety. Trailer Town Selection, hundreds to choose from, small to large, lightweight aluminum to heavy-duty steel, all types, new and used. Trailer Town Service, the best in the Midwest, from wiring to axle repair. Trailer Town Safety, yes, we do Department of Transportation inspections. Trailer Town, trusted, family-owned, 301 West 53rd Street North.
Hammond Liquor, home of the coldest beer in town and the lowest prices store-wide. For all your special events, your friends at Hammond Liquor have what you need, from beer, wines, spirits, champagne, and more. Open till 8 p.m. every Sunday. Hammond Liquor, West Kellogg and Tyler Road. Hammond Liquor, home of the coldest beer in town and lowest prices store-wide, wants to remind you of very important savings days. Wine Day, Tuesdays get 20% off. Beer Day, Wednesdays get 10% off. Microbrews and imports. Open till 8 p.m. every Sunday. Hammond Liquor, West Kellogg and Tyler Road.
Credit King Auto Sales is getting better all the time. We're doing it better. We're doing it better all the time.
Credit King Auto Sales, the king of buy here, pay here. Bad credit, no problem. The King specializes in getting you in the ride you want no matter the credit score. Credit King doing it better all the time with the largest selection to choose from in all price ranges at one location. The King's Corner, 31st Street South and Broadway. Kansas' biggest buy here, pay here. GoCreditKing.com.
Welcome back once again, real people, real life from Wichita, Kansas, America. And I am very honored. You know, when you come on the show, Nathan, I know that you're going to bring me some honest, real information, and then it's going to be kind of hard hitting, you know, but then you're going to back it up with some great stuff.
We try to.
You always do. You always do.
Who's we?
And you brought a special friend.
I brought my friend Aaron here.
Aaron?
This is Chili.
Chili.
And Chili has his own show called Chili Off the Grid, and I really just thought he would be great for today's veteran show.
Yeah.
And he brings a wealth of knowledge and help and so forth that I think that the team would just like here.
We had a chance to talk to you a little bit earlier, and I think what we kind of want to do is tell us a little bit about Chili Off the Grid. I know that you have a Facebook account and there's a website, but let's get into some of the hard-hitting things that our veterans are facing right now.
Actually, we'll start with Chili Off the Grid. What it is, it's an outdoor television show. It's an outdoor television show with the thought in mind of creating objectives for our warfighters. And the reason why we have decided that's the method we wanted to go is as not just inviting veterans onto our hunting show. We wanted to give them something to look forward to in their lives, with camaraderie, with a mission, and just with things to do to keep their minds active, because we've found that with the veteran suicide issue, keeping our warfighters' minds active and on a mission has been a little bit more of a successful method than just drugs and even counseling. So what we did is we linked up with a couple different organizations like Gallant Few, which operates to help with the transition of Army and Army Rangers. Raider Project which helps with MARSOC and Marines, and MARSOC is the Marine Special Operations Command. And then as well, Patriot Outdoor Adventures.
Nathan, thank you.
Nathan is part of, and Mark Spencer as well on that. And we've worked with them a couple times. We work with these organizations to help us find objectives. And by objectives, I mean, say we have a hunt or some sort of a hiking trip. They kind of have the connections, whether it's in Colorado or Texas, so we can plan far enough out to where that warfighter, he says to himself, I've got a mission, I've got a command, I've got camaraderie that is dependent upon me to do my job and handle my weight for the next 4 months until we go on this mission. And that's become a very successful method for us and also other organizations.
I like that. I do. I like that because I know, Nathan, we've talked about in the past, it's that camaraderie.
That's it. It's huge. You're part of a family, a group.
It's the need to be needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the small things. A lot of people don't understand that Chili and I could go to work all day long, but then we still want to go grill or barbecue together at night. Wives hate it because you spend more time with your fellow service members than you do at home. And then they get out and they feel like the group has just left them. It's just crumbled. I've had the pleasure of working with Aaron a couple times, going on some of his trips, and some of his guests end up being new friends of mine. And we got one in particular, he's a Marine, had a hard time, and he's been over to the house grilling. We go fishing in the backyard. It's just making that connection, that group, and then all of a sudden they just seem to transition. And I like to look at it as it's that non-regular, kind of an asymmetric therapy.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to go get see medical help or behavioral health. Well, and there's lots of great things out there.
Right.
But sometimes it's just having a friend.
Right.
Is enough to pull you out of the basement, enough to get you out and start interacting again.
Because we were, and I think there's some pretty hardcore statistics, and we were talking earlier about substance abuse, suicide rates, and things that the family and friends should kind of be, keeping an eye out for, and that, not really wanting to die, but the risky behavior. Can you kind of elaborate on some of that?
Absolutely, I think we both can. Being veterans, and also us both being grunts of some form. I was Marine Corps infantry. Nathan had a little bit different background, a little bit more high speed, low drag. But with me, if you want a little bit of background on me, I've actually committed suicide twice in my life. Once in 2006 and once in 2012. First time by poisoning, alcohol, anything I could throw in. Then 2012 by hanging. Obviously, I'm terrible at it, as you can see. If there's one thing to be bad at, it's that. Risky behavior, yeah. I mean, Nathan and I can both sit here and talk about guys we know that will hop on a motorcycle and just speed down the highway 100 miles an hour, not necessarily because they need to feel that thrill, but because they just don't care. It's not really a concern to them what happens
to them.
It's just, if something happens, mentally I'm gone anyway. And I think a lot of us have gone down that path. I know I've driven down the highway at speeds as far as, my speedometer would even let me go, just because you don't care,
Well, yeah, Joe, but yeah. Right. Did you have some hardcore?
Well, I did. There's like approximately 23 million Americans are veterans. One form of them, predominantly male, although the women are increasing now because there's a lot of women veterans, a lot of women combat veterans nowadays. But out of that number, what struck me is a couple of things. One, they say there's upwards of 50,000 vets per day are homeless in America. Again, primarily men, generally older. Suicides, they approximate about 22 veterans per day in America kill themselves successfully.
And that doesn't count how many are unsuccessful.
Correct. And because they don't. And
yeah,
those
that
numbers,
number never gets actually tallied,
Well, they're saying about 50% of the suicide attempts are either poisoning or overdose, drugs, alcohol, that type of thing. So there's probably more.
Well, there's another one out there. It's slightly over 90% have actually seen their family care or primary care provider within 30 days before attempting. Because a lot of times they're hurting, they can't sleep, they're needing something to make it feel better. And so they go to the doctor because they want to feel better. But there's just not that link. We see it. People try cocaine. They try skydiving. They try to get that thrill that they had in combat. They feel a hollowness inside of them. There's a lot of things that, as friends and family, we need to be looking for. It doesn't matter that you have a son that served. It could be the neighbor, guy that just came to your church or whatnot. Are they disconnected? Don't really want to go out? Alcoholism sometimes, recreational drug use, and then we go the opposite side, that they're not just hanging out in the basement. Are they doing stupid stuff? I should have died in Iraq. I got hit by 4 anti-tank rounds was the injury that sent me home. One time I got pinned on a rooftop by an enemy sniper for a prolonged period of time before we could find him. The guy next to me got shot walking down a street. There's lots of these things that you say, I'm mentally, emotionally, I should have died. And then all of a sudden you come back home. What is it to do 140 down the highway with no helmet on a motorcycle?
Yeah. If you've lived
I
through all that.
I already have this hollowness. There's no objective. There's no one's dependent on me. If I don't show up to work, no one calls. In the military, you don't show up to work. Your squad leader comes down and beats down your door and drags you out of bed and takes you back to work.
Right.
It's
I've had one boss that way, but
and I think that both have a similar objective. Chili does a great job of getting it out there. He's been on several stations out there trying to get that message across. I see him at a lot of trade shows. Interacting a lot with the families, trying to get them to understand.
Yeah.
We need to make that, and I think we talked about this one time too before, Nathan. The spouses, the children, the parents, the aunts, the uncles, the neighbors, they need to know who can we call if they see something that they know or they feel is somebody that's getting ready to possibly do harm to themselves or others,
Is this
who
crisis?
do we contact?
Is there a crisis hotline?
Absolutely, there is. And he's
It's
got-
1-800-273-8255, and then push 1 so that you're prompted. And that gets you right in to talk to somebody. Can get you help for you, for yourself, or a loved one.
And so the military has something. I don't mean to step on you.
No, do it.
I hear you got a cold going on over here. There's a thing called a vet center. It's kind of like the VA, but it really came about in Vietnam. People just needed mutual support on college campuses. As spouses, you can call the vet center or go in, and you get 12 free counselings.
Wow.
Really?
And that's for the family.
That's pretty good.
And so it's ways that you can help while someone's deployed. I can get some help, or I come back. There's one caveat to that that I've seen some of my co-workers and peers go through, is that they're very veteran focused. And so it's not so much how do I change the veteran, but how does the spouse and family understand what the veteran's going through.
Right.
That's
And
gotta
so
be
that's
tough.
a little different counseling. From a male perspective, a lot of wives say, well, he changed. Change him back to what I want.
Yeah. It
You
doesn't
can't do
happen.
that
He has
because you're
changed.
working with a different
Now
product.
you
at
need to
that
learn
point.
who this
Yep.
new person is.
Yeah, and that's I can see where that would be difficult.
It-
You know, Aaron, you do have a Facebook and website. Can you tell me those real quick?
Oh, absolutely. We hit it up on all social media we can. We have Facebook, which is facebook.com/chilioffthegrid. We have a website, which is in progress. We do have a GoFundMe that you can read about us on. It's at chilioffthegrid.com/vets, VETS. You can find us on Instagram at chilioffthegrid, Twitter at chilioffthegrid as well. You can find me on LinkedIn if you want, anywhere. I try to be as accessible as I can because it has proven to, I wouldn't say a lifesaver, but it has proven to be a bridge to be very accessible to people. Doesn't mean you'll deal with me if you're struggling, but you may end up like we have with another
organization that you
Yeah.
work with.
Right.
One of the things that struck me is I looked up on YouTube and found some videos for Chili Off the Grid, but one of them is the promotion you give talking about your 2 suicide attempts.
Right.
That was chilling.
Yeah,
That was actually for I had a member of the director of a suicide prevention organization for the Army in a base in Washington actually called me and asked me to do that. So the Army actually uses that to train young soldiers right now. So
wow,
and you can find that on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/chilioffthegrid.
So there's obviously plenty of ways to get a hold of you.
Absolutely.
And then Patriot Outdoors Adventures, we've had you guys on before, and I'm glad you come back today.
Absolutely.
And we'll get a little bit more into how they can get a hold of you.
Absolutely.
After we come back from a break. We're going to go to a break here in just a little bit, and then we'll all come back. And we kind of had some hard-hitting statistics and stuff like that. And now we want to come back and maybe take a few seconds of silence and then get back into what are the things that you guys can do to help others.
Yeah.
Okay? Sound good? Okay.
Good plan.
I'll tell you what, we'll be back in just a little bit. Real people, real life. Wichita, Kansas, America.
America.
Real People, Real Life is brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Sal's Japanese Steakhouse, 6829 East Kellogg Drive. A Wichita tradition for awesome dining and always a great time. Enjoy our Monday to Thursday specials, including half-price chicken and shrimp dinners. Sal's is open 7 days a week. Come in, relax, and let us give you the treat of fine dining and good fun in a beautiful atmosphere. From our family to yours, Sal's Japanese Steakhouse, 6829 East Kellogg, Wichita, Kansas.
At Economy Motors, we've got your back. We are the home of Easy Pay. At a time when everything costs more, not with us. Everything, all makes, all models are still priced $12,995 and under. Great selection and adding more every week. Now is the perfect time to come in and take your pick with just $100 to put the car of your choice in layaway. Bad credit, no worries. We are here to help you. Economy Motors, 2305 South Broadway.
Economy Motors, we got your back. Hammond Liquor, home of the coldest beer in town and the lowest prices store-wide. For all your special events, your friends at Hammond Liquor have what you need, from beer, wines, spirits, champagne, and more. Open till 8 p.m. every Sunday. Hammond Liquor, West Kellogg and Tyler Road. Hammond Liquor, home of the coldest beer in town and lowest prices store-wide, wants to remind you of very important savings days. Wine Day, Tuesdays get 20% off. Beer Day, Wednesdays get 10% off. Microbrews and imports. Open till 8 p.m. every Sunday. Hammond Liquor, West Kellogg and Tyler Road.
Knapp Weaponry is the home of Wichita's newest indoor temperature-controlled shooting range. Mention this ad for 2-for-1 pricing weekdays from noon to 4. Knapp Weaponry is an NRA Business Alliance member that offers NRA and state-certified instruction classes, training, and women's unarmed self-defense classes. We buy and sell new and used guns and offer gunsmith services. Knapp Weaponry offers a free range session with the purchase of a new gun. We also offer transfer services and an array of ammo. Knapp Weaponry, the West Side's best-kept secret.